Hi, I'm Stephanie, and this is Texas Peach Knits. So it's the last day of January, and I had the opportunity to jump on and film a little update podcast of all the things that I have been working on. In this podcast, I have some finished objects for you. I also have some books and magazines that I purchased over the Christmas holidays. I have a little bit of chit chat. Oh, I also have a cross stitch project for you and a little bit of chatter. So if you need something in the background while you tidy up your kitchen or work on your current whip, this might be the right episode for you. I'm probably going to be stopping and starting the video in between each segment, so it might seem a little disconnected. That's because of the recording issues I had last time. I don't want to repeat what happened last time. So here we go. So I'm really happy that I already decided to film into small segments because the last small segment I filmed did not save, and then my Mac told me I needed to update, and last time I think that was the issue, was it was an update thing, so I updated, and so hopefully we're good now. But I have a really ancient MacBook, so it's awesome. I love it because it still has all the plugs and things that the new ones don't have. But it can be a little persnickety. So anyways, what I was talking about is my progress and my records from 2025. I am not going to share each individual project with you because you can go back and watch the videos or go look at my Instagram account because I share everything there if you're really that interested. But I do want to share my yarn journal. I have shared this before. I do a 2-page layout per month, and I just keep track of my starts, my finishes, my yarn in and my yarn out, and then any kind of notes that I need to write about any projects on the other page. And I don't keep it perfect. I don't have like these things have to go there. It's better to write it down even if it's in the wrong place than to not write it down at all, right? So in 2025, I tried Chicken Lady Fiber Arts 25 FOs in 2025, and I had this little sheet. I actually tore it out because it was in the wrong place in my knitting journal, and then I just stapled it in. But as you can see, I only made it to 19 projects last year. I'm not mad about it. I actually did more, but I'm not counting the hacky sacks that I made for our homeschool co-op that I wish to forget. So we're gonna say I made 19 projects last year. So that was fine. The really exciting thing about last year is I only bought 665 grams of yarn in the whole year. I did receive some yarn gifted from a friend, which was very lovely, and I didn't count it because it was like mix and mash, like scraps, a lot of stuff I gave to my daughters, and I didn't really take the time to catalog it all into my stash. Let me know if you receive yarn hand-me-downs, do you count that as added to your stash, or is that like a freebie in? I did use 3,084 grams of yarn last year, even though I only had 19 finished projects, and that means that I basically had 24 100-gram skeins leave my stash, and I think that's pretty amazing. So that was a good thing. I ended up making 5 sweaters, 2 scarves and shawls, 8 pairs of socks, 2 hats, 1 blanket, and 1 accessory. I did have a make 9 for 2025, but I only did 3 of the things on my make 9. Some of the other things are still in progress, and that's okay. So overall, very happy with 2025's progress. Every December, I like to make Christmas socks for myself. At some point, I might start making Christmas socks for other family members because, I mean, can you have too many pairs of Christmas socks? I don't know. So this year I knit Freckled Whimsy Peppermint Mocha yarn, and this had been a gift from my friend Liz. She gave it to me in for Christmas of 2024, and I set it aside to be my Christmas socks in 2025. And let me just say, the Freckled Whimsy sock yarn does not disappoint. This was the first time I have ever knit with it. I am not one to like buy a lot of like specialty yarns, especially like one-off skeins. I will go to like a fiber festival and purchase from a vendor, but I don't often go online and just order. That's just not who I am as a knitter. And actually what I'm wearing today, this was Miss Babs. It was a Kilimanjaro skein, and it was from a DFW Fiber Fest. So this is an example of when I bought specialty yarn, but it was in person at a Fiber Fest. So anyways, I was gifted this last year, and I saved it for my Christmas socks, and it is lovely. Freckled Whimsy, the sock base, just wonderful to work with. Beautiful, beautiful socks. And I will say I have not worn them yet. It's the end of January, and so December was amazingly beautiful, and it was like I was wearing sandals and t-shirts all of December, so no complaints. And even Christmas was gorgeous, so I ended up not wearing them. And then even though we had a cold spell last week, a very cold spell, which I will share more at the end, I had plenty of other socks to wear, so I just kept these folded nice. But anyways, here are my Freckled Whimsy Christmas socks. I did have the mini skein of this like mint mocha color, and I ended up using it at the top for like a short row. And then this is the mini skein that I got, and then this is the start of the striping pattern. So it just worked out that I was able to do that, and then I just duplicated it on the other skein. I think I did 5 rows from the mini skein. So I actually have quite a bit. I don't think I weighed the mini skein by itself, but I have enough to make another pair of shorty socks between the mini skein and the striped skein. So really a generous skein of yarn. These are made to fit my size 9 feet, and it's just a normal heel and toe, so nothing special. And it's all stockinette, so nothing special in the sock knitting either, but I just really wanted to enjoy the striping pattern, and it was fun to knit in December as Christmas approached. I even had them at one of my kids' orchestra rehearsals, and another mom was surprised because she had never seen yarn that striped. So I got to inform someone that yes, there is yarn out there that does cool things. So anyways, they were great. I love them. The other really exciting finish object, which granted, like some things are never finished. Like it's like I finished with this project. So this is the vest for my husband, and I can't believe, I honestly can't believe it's basically done. But like you finish the Fair Isle knitting, and then you finish the steeking, and then you finish adding the ribbing around the edges, and then you have to finish the finishing on the inside, sewing things down, sewing in ends, then you have to do the soak and the block. So I am at the part where I'm still weaving in ends and sewing down my steeks. So let me show you. All right, so here it is. This is an Elizabeth Zimmerman pattern, and I don't remember, I think it was like a 50 something chest for my husband, and I only had to tear it out and restart one time, so that's good. And it's all knit in Holst Garn, super soft, which I ordered specifically for this project. I had looked at a whole bunch of pictures of Fair Isle vests to get an idea of what kind of color scheme I liked, and then I chose the colors based off of like other random pictures of Fair Isle vests that were all different patterns, not necessarily this pattern. So as you can see, I used the darker brown to do all of the trim, the V-neck, and that's what I started with at the bottom. This was bottom up. And this was the first time I have steeked, and it was, well, it was a process. So when you're knitting in the round Fair Isle and you don't want to have to go back and forth for things like the shoulder straps, you end up knitting with this all together. So this is attached. There we go. Like that. And there's no hole, and there's no hole over here. And I'll share a picture of what it looked like with no holes. Like everything, it looks all squished. And even my mother was confused when I showed it to her. She was like, is that just the front? Are you going to make another one? I was like, no, I'm going to cut it. And you should have seen her face. She was like, really? People do that? I was like, yes, evidently they do. And I'm going to do it too. So this was the first time. And I really, Elizabeth Zimmerman is great, but she assumes that you know a lot. And probably when she was writing the books, I know not a lot of people were still knitting when she wrote the books, but a lot of older people had known how to knit, and they knew how to do these things that you just knew how to do, and it wasn't a big deal. Just people did them, right? So the idea of cutting your knitting is very frightening, and I ended up, she only wanted you to have 4 waist stitches in between, so you make like a row of waist stitches, which is where you cut. And I had watched a video of someone else setting up for steeking, and they used 6 stitches with a purl stitch on either side, so it was obvious like these are the corners, and then you know how purls will kind of fold over better, so like the waist, this little waist bit that comes off, it kind of folds over at that purl where you pick up the stitches in between the purl and the main knitting. So I ended up doing 6 stitches for my little column where I was going to cut. I'm glad I did, because this doesn't seem like a ton of waist, right? Like that's not, if I only had 2 stitches there, it would not be a lot. But when I was going to cut it, I basically just had to tell myself, like, this is the thing people do. Like, it's not a big deal. Just cut it. And afterwards, I realized, like, watching another video about cutting your steaks, that I probably should have been a little bit more careful, but it's fine. Like, I set myself up that I didn't have to be as careful. I ended up felting those little, the little like excess pieces, you know, in between. So I used like a felting thing and one of those foam pad things, and I felted it all really good so that this wool would stick together anyways. And I used my sewing machine to sew over the pieces, sewn bit. I know you can see the threads. So here's the white threads from my sewing machine because I sewed. So even though I wasn't crazy careful to like stay in the exact line of bars to cut, it's still fine. But let me show you. I'll hold it up again because it's worth it. Now, this has not been washed or blocked yet, and so I expect it to kind of fluff up a little bit more because Holst Garn has some of the lanolin still in it. I feel like I can, there we go. But it's just beautiful. I mean, it fits my husband. He could use a little bit more space. So when I wash and block it, I'm going to just give it a little tug. But I think that naturally would happen anyways. And man, this was 2 years in the making. And it was worth it. It was fun, you know? So what else can I say about this? I am sewing down these little flaps where I cut the steeks, and I'm using sort of a blanket stitch. I am using a blanket stitch to sew those down. So this is one that I've already mostly stitched down, and you can see this, especially the blue. And I am just using, where I can, my loose threads from changing colors. I haven't, all of these to weave in, and I've seen people braid these, but I will probably just weave them in with a needle. There are a lot of them. So I still have to stitch down this steek and this one, and then some of on the arm. I haven't finished all the arm ones yet. And then after getting all of those things woven in, I will be able to soak it and block it. I really enjoyed working with the Holst Garn. It's not like a soft, like baby yarn, but it feels very real. Like it's real yarn. I don't find it itchy at all. But this is the type of item that you would wear over another garment. So it can be a little more rough, you know, than something you would wear next to your skin. So you will probably see this again after it's done and blocked, because I would like to get my husband to model it for me. It's the payment for me knitting something like that. But if you are interested in knitting something similar, it is from Elizabeth Zimmerman's knitting workshop. I basically followed the pattern for Stu's Fair Isle vest, but I did have to make adjustments based on gauge, my yarn choice, and my husband being larger than what men at that time they made patterns for. And so she had she had 4 options for Fair Isle patterns on that, and she also didn't do the stripes of the background color. So I ended up leaving out one. I left out this one, I think, the zigzaggy, and I alternated like background colors. And I have so much yarn left. So I purchased one of each of the contrast colors, and I still have half, at least half, if not more than half. These colors, I think I have half. I'd have to weigh them of these. I mean, they're barely smushed. Here's the brown. And I had purchased 2 of this light gray-brown color, and I have like 75% of the second skein left. I purchased 6 of the darker brown. I don't know what I was thinking. like, I don't know where I got these number stories, but I purchased 6 of these. Guess how many I used? This is the second skein. I used 1.75 skeins. Like, I just can't believe it. So I have 4 whole skeins of this left. So I think I'm going to make vests for my sons, and I think I have enough to make 2. I will say I'm not going to do the Fair Isle. I'm going to just stripe. I'm going to stripe them. Unless I look around and I get some other ideas, but like both of my sons will get vests. I can't believe it. So anyways, tons of yarn left over, definitely worth the money. I think I paid $50 for all the yarn, including shipping. Maybe it was like $55, and I'm going to get 3 vests out of it. So that is shocking to me. I didn't realize this yarn just went on forever. So these are 50 grams, and well, they have 314 yards in 50 grams. So it is a light fingering weight. But the thing is my dog is banging on the door. The thing is the it fluffs up. So I knit on a size 3 needle. So it's knitting about the gauge of a fingering weight, and it goes on forever. So very happy. I might use it again. They have a lot of really pretty colors. I have a lot of things already in the works, so we'll see. My last finished object is the little baby socks that, if you follow me on Instagram, you have seen plenty of pictures of these. But these are little, like, flexible size baby socks, and it's a pattern that I basically just made up, and there's things out there like them, but basically the back side of the sock is completely 2x2 rib from the cuff down to the toe, and that is so the baby's heel could go anywhere in the sock. So like this could be the heel if it's little tiny, or if it has a bigger foot, you could go there. And the main issue with this type of sock, at least in my made up pattern, is that there's a little bit of a chunk in the front of the foot, like where you see how it bends. So it's not a perfect fit, and I wouldn't necessarily make them for wearing in a shoe, I guess, but for a newborn baby, it's really, really nice to have that like flexible fit, because their little feet grow so fast, and if you're going to take the time to knit socks, it's nice for them to fit a long time. But I made a set of 3 of these for a friend of mine that is having a baby, and I gave them to her at her baby shower, which it was the first baby shower I've been to in years, so it was really fun. It was really sweet, but they went over really well at the baby shower, and another one of her friends asked me if I would make a set for her baby, who at the time of the baby shower was only 5 weeks old. So I was able to try one of the socks on her baby, because I hadn't tried them on a baby yet, and it fit really well. I was really happy with the fit, and I made her a set, and so these were fun to make, and they're pretty quick. It took me 2 weeks, not exclusive knitting, to make 3 pairs. So I will drop into the description of this video my basic pattern, and I am not a pattern writer, and I do some weird things flipping, like I knit these magic loop on size 1 needles in their normal sock yarn, and I do some weird things so that the back of the sock like the center of it is like a knit rib, and then the two sides are the purl ribs. So I don't know, it makes sense to me. It might not make sense to you, but the yarns I used for these, this is Opal Funky Fruits that I got from Anna Knitter. This is Regia, my first Regia, baby pink, and I think I saw this color. It comes up on that Little Knits website every once in a while, and this purple I want to say is Opal. No, this is West Yorkshire Spinners. So each pair of this baby socks, the most yarn weight that I used was 18 grams, and the least was 15 grams. But I would say if you have 17 grams, you're gonna be fine. Because most of mine were between 16 and 17 grams when I made them, and I made 6 pairs. So size 1 needles, fingering weight yarn, great for a mini skein or a little bit of leftovers, and they look so cute. So I will drop that very rough pattern into the whatever it is, the description, and you can have at it if you really want to, and maybe you can make some improvements and let me know. So I do have a half finished object to show you. I have multiple whips that I'm just not currently working on, so I did not bring those, but this is my half finished object, which are socks for my husband, and this is the Opal Funky Fruits from Anna Knitter, and this is On Your Toes, SRK, and this is ancient. This is from Tuesday Morning, and they were like, I don't know if they're clearancing it out or it was $5. And I've used this a lot, this really, really dark navy. But so the dark navy is the heel and the toe. My husband really wanted just plain stockinette socks, so that's why they are plain. 72 stitches. I do decrease down to 68 stitches once I get past, so I do the normal decreases at the arch, and then I'll do a couple more decreases partway down the foot, because his foot narrows halfway as it gets to the toe. So custom socks, and these kept me company on our drive to South Texas after Christmas, and where we enjoyed 90-degree weather. And great little car knitting project. So I started the second one, and these are just going to hang around when I need like a quick project to grab. I'd like to have them done for his birthday. His birthday is mid-February, but I am not necessarily counting on it. So that is my half finished object. If you didn't know it still existed, the Fancy Knitting or Fancy Reading and Needlecraft Club, which is just a very relaxed Telegram group, to tell you the truth, is still going strong, and we were inspired by one of the sweet ladies in our group who is making a cross stitch pattern to celebrate America's 250th anniversary. I adore the way cross stitch samplers look, especially like Americana type cross stitch samplers. I really love them. Like, if I didn't also love to knit and like didn't find knitting so rewarding because of, you know, how you can make things for people, I know you can cross stitch things for people, but you know what I'm saying. I would do a lot more cross stitch. The product is more of like a art piece, I feel like, and I don't have a lot of use for tons of art pieces in my home, because eventually you have enough sweaters too, but we don't need to, they wear out, right? So anyways, I really loved her cross stitch that she was doing. So I went on this huge deep dive looking for Americana cross stitch patterns that I could add like 250 years anniversary or something to them to make them like special for this year. And I ended up finding this Plum Street sampler, John and Abigail, which I read a biography about Abigail Adams last year, and I really enjoyed it. And this had the American flag on it, and it's very like Americana. I wanted to have some kind of house or barn. It just kind of fit what I was looking for, and it's not humongous. So this is what I chose, and several other members of our group are either cross-stitching things or, you know, working on other kind of like America themed projects just for fun. And I really like the idea of having the goal of finishing it for the anniversary. So I've worked on this off and on, and I'm trying to put a little bit of time into it every week, and I'm really happy with my progress. So oh, the other thing is I bought the pattern. It was like $11, and I bought it from 123 Stitch, I think is what it's called, but it's in Louisville, Texas, which is about an hour from me. And they said, do you want to come pick it up so you don't have to pay shipping? And I was like, I don't want to drive 2 hours. I'll pay the $3 shipping. And it was nice that they gave me that option. And someday, if I'm ever over there, I will have to visit. So if you've been there, I would like to know what it's like. And I also, since I bought the pattern, I thought I need to look through my thread collection and find threads that match. So I am not following the recommended colors, but I found things adequate or that worked for everything. And so here's all my threads, this side. And I got this case from Hobby Lobby on the clearance sale. I love this case. It keeps everything together. Sorry about the banging. And here is my piece so far. So when I'm cross stitching, I like to do the border, and this doesn't have a border, so I just started with the things kind of, well, actually I started with the roof because I found the center. I started with the roof, and then I started working my way around the border. And so this, obviously, I have a ton of fabric available on the sides. I think what I'm going to do is look through my other patterns and find a border to put around it, and then add in my happy birthday or 1776 to 2026 in the border. So if you also like to cross stitch and you want to join us, just send me an email, texaspeachknits@gmail.com, and I can send you a link to join our group. We call ourselves the Fancy Reading Group because fancy reading and needlecraft, because obviously the needlecrafts are very fancy, but I think it's kind of like, I don't want to say highbrow reading, but we really like reading classics. And there's a lot of talk about, you know, authors like C.S. Lewis or Louisa May Alcott, or some of these like older authors are kind of the vibe. So if you like that, please join us. We are very relaxed. So even though the crafting content is complete, I have some knitting books and some just books to share really quick. So if you're interested in that, I did a really good job last year of not buying new yarn. I did not do as good of a job of not acquiring more knitting books. I really like paper books. I'm not a big fan of buying PDFs if I can help it. And I absolutely adore the book Treasure Hunt at thrift stores, garage sales, used bookstores, all those kinds of things. And when I was at a used bookstore, the chain is called Half Price Books. You can sometimes find hidden gems in there, and I found this making magazine. And so this is the 5th, they don't make this anymore. And it's got nice thick paper. It's kind of, I had never heard of it when they were making it. But so Carrie Bostitch Hogue, she wrote like Matter, the Matter books. And I think there's another pretty famous knitting lady that's involved in this. But so the making magazine, that's they no longer make them. It has a theme for each of the magazines. This one's theme is color, and they have all kinds of, like this, it's so sweet. I love it so much. They have like photo inspiration, gardening. There's a coloring page in this one. They have this beautiful embroidered pillow. There's also knitting projects and other, like here's a little sewing project. Here's a bag that you can sew. I'm trying to find the knitting in this one. Here we go. So some just really lovely patterns. And so I found this one, and I just fell in love with it. I thought that's a magazine I can get behind. It was gorgeous. And so I started looking for them. I looked online, like on the used thrift books, A books, and I found one. I found the Fauna. And this one also has just the gorgeous, you know, like art. There's some fingerless mitts, tons of things. And then the next time I was in a Half Price Books, I just was like, I'm just going to scan. I'm just going to see if I see one. And I found another one, and this one was only $5. So I now have 3 of them, I think. So some of them are ebook only, and I won't be buying. I don't even know if you can buy the ebook ones. Crochet project. But like I said, I love a treasure hunt for used books. So now I'm going to be treasure hunting this series. But like I said, last year I did not do a good job. I bought a lot of books, and not a lot of yarn. So my yarn budget went all to books. And so this year I'm trying to stay away from the used books. So at least for a little while. I'll break. You know I'll break. So my husband got me for my birthday last year this Pam Allen Plain and Simple. And this was used also. I gave him a link to the used one to get me for my birthday. And the main reason I wanted this is I love the photographs, and I love this kind of like just kind of normal clothes vibe. So a lot of these items are very nice, basic knitted items. Here's like a color work yoke. There's a basic. Some of these are dark. The photos are dark. Here's like just a basic pullover. And like I said, I love having the physical pattern. So, and the fact that you get, like, this is 11 patterns that I think, you know, he probably paid $13 for that book used. So it's a steal. But so I might have things coming out of those in the future that I am working on. Then in the literature realm, I wanted to share 2 series that I have been very much enjoying. This is the 3rd book in this like Beatrix Potter mystery series. This is extremely light reading. So this like scratches the cottage core, cozy mystery type realm. And I ended up hunting down, I think I hunted down the whole series to give myself for Christmas this year. But I haven't read anything else by this author, just the Beatrix Potter series. They're very just cozy and entertaining. And I've really, really enjoyed them. So Susan Winding Albert, and they include a little bit of like real history on Beatrix Potter, and they also have those like recipes. You know why do cozy mystery books include recipes? And I guess the like who's that knitting lady who writes books? I haven't really read. They're like the more romance, but she includes knitting patterns sometimes. I guess it just makes it feel more connected to you or something. I haven't made any of the recipes. But these have been really fun to just read before bed. It's not a big deal if I'm not 1,000% paying attention. And I've really enjoyed these. I've read the first 3 in the series, and I will be reading the rest of them this year. So very fun. The other series is The Swallows and Amazons by Arthur Ransom. And if you're a homeschool mom, you have probably heard of these. But when I was first homeschooling my daughters, I heard they were good, but I never really got into them. My girls were quick to start wanting to read to themselves. But with my sons, they're 8 and 11. They share a room. They still like to be read to at night. And I found the Swallows and Amazon series to be the absolute perfect bedtime story for that kind of age range of boys because they're not scary, but they're exciting. There's like a little bit of the danger aspect, but like everybody's safe. There's a whole lot of creativity and adventure, and it gives my sons a lot of really nice things to think about as they're falling asleep. So I brought the winter holiday one. This, I think, is the 4th book. Yes, this is the 4th book, and now we're reading the 5th book. And they're all super long. I mean, they've got a lot of words. And so I don't think my boys would at this point pick these up to read to themselves. And they're even a little slow. There's a lot of description. But like I said, it is the perfect bedtime story series because you can read one chapter or even half a chapter and you get lots of interesting things to think about, but you feel like you've read quite a bit, and it's cozy, and you like getting to know the kids in the books. So there's no like magic or real I mean, they get into some kind of like sticky situations, but they tend to bring their adults in. So like in the book we're reading right now, The Coot Club, the boy does something to save a bird's nest, and he feels like maybe it was wrong, but he felt like he had to do it. And almost immediately he pulls his father in and talks it over with his father. And I feel like that's the kind of thing that I like encouraging in my own children. Like, you know, sometimes you have to make a decision and do something before you have the chance to talk to your parent, but it's always good to pull your parents in, you know, and like not, so I feel like some more modern books, the kids are on their own, and it's almost like the adults are not a part of their world. And in these books, the kids are on their own. Honestly, it has made me a better parent because I let my boys wander, play outside more, be more relaxed without feeling like I'm hovering. I mean, they're old enough. but they still want to tell me about what they're doing, want to share their adventures with me. And I think that's the beauty of these books. So Winter Holiday was all about sledding and snow and fun. And I brought it to show you because we just had an ice storm for a week. We got to play outside. It was not snowman snow. It was definitely ice. And praise God, we did not lose power, and we were plenty warm, and we were just kind of stuck in our house because Texas does not have the ability to plow all the roads, and we live on a road where no one goes. So we were basically stuck in our house Friday night through Thursday morning, and my husband's school was canceled the whole week. And so it was a little bit of an adventure, but all right, I have to go. I have to drive a kid to violin practice. And anyways, it was good talking to you, and I will see you again soon. Bye.